Are you interested in becoming an Emmy and want to know if it's worth the wait in the Coast Guard? Well, in this series of interviews, I interview my friend Emmy Haines, where he explains what exactly an Emmy does, what type of units you could end up at, what the different units are. So, like what a DSF does, what an MSRT does, MIST, tacklet, all these different things, and also some really cool information like how to become a dog handler, what do military police officers do, some things that you guys, I'm sure that you want to know if you're interested and what exactly an Emmy does. So if you want to see the full interview, you can check out in the description box. I've got a playlist that'll include all the videos to this interview, and hope you guys enjoy. Till next time, guys, peace out. How do you become a dog handler as an Emmy? I know that lots of people they want to join the military and handle dogs. Is that's got to be a pretty small group, especially in the Coast Guard. But
I think if I were to conjecture without being completely correct, I think there's 14 or 16 canine handlers in the entire Coast Guard. I will find out an exact number and tell you, but it's a very, very, very small, specialized community. As you and your partner, your canine partner, work very closely together, has a lot of benefits. It's an absolutely great thing. I would love to do it. But generally, getting that is an in-house recruitment process. So if you're at one of these units, you're at an MSST or an MSRT, and somebody's up for transfer, and that billet is available based on your qualifications and how you've worked at that unit. If you say, hey, that's something I'd want to do, and they'll basically, generally within house, decide who's going to be that next dog handler.
wow, and then is that something that it's not for the rest of your career you're a dog handler. It's just until your time at that unit is up, or
And so it's generally until the service life of that dog, that canine, expires. So it's generally much longer than people would generally stay at a unit. But the service life of these dogs, again, I don't want to speculate, but it's generally around 6 to 8 years. So they're generally going to stay there or stay in that capacity. So they may move to a different unit where they're still doing canine work. So they're going to be a canine handler for the life of their dog.
okay. Their service time, we're not talking about until the dog dies. We're just saying until the dog retires.
Correct. Whatever DHS and TSA decides that those dogs' service life is. No, it's yeah, that would be a long time.
Just working the dog to death. No,
Yeah, right.
until they become a chief and the dog is a supportive role. Then they get out.
Yeah. The really cool thing is, so the dog always outranks the handler. I
Really?
don't know if you know that. So there's actually, if you Google it, you'll see a lot of any advancement ceremonies, or the dogs also get officially retired. They get all this stuff, and they wear rank on their collars, and they're always one rank above the handler, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's really cool. That's some cool information. Now, what would you say are some of the most desired jobs as an Emmy?
So I think definitely one of the big things is being a canine handler, as we just talked about. It's a very small, very right place, right time kind of thing to get that, but an absolutely great job. I think another one is maybe being a firearms instructor, or any sort of instructor. I think a lot of people like to do that. I know that's something I wanted to do, or being at an MSRT. But something too that a lot of people don't realize is being on the protective detail for the commandant. There's a few MEs that do that, very few. They wear plain clothes. They're fully credentialed. It's really cool, and a good buddy of mine does that. I think that's a job that is also highly sought out as well.
Because you get to grow your beard out and wear civilian clothes, or
You don't quite grow your beard out, but you do. You wear a suit. You get to conceal carry a firearm, and you're driving the commandant, the vice commandant, and other VIP personnel. You're traveling at times, doing these really unique things at our nation's capital as well as around, working closely with CGIS. So I know a lot of people go for that. That's a great opportunity.
okay. And are there any other types of like not as well known jobs? Like I know for ITs we have some jobs especially in the cyber community opening up, where you can like work with different agencies, like you work with US Cyber, the DHS. Are there jobs for Emmys where you can like branch out to different departments or different types of things, like maybe DEA or Border Patrol or any stuff like that?
So I think man, that's really going to depend on where you're stationed. I think a big one is that protective security detail, working alongside CGIS. I mean, you're working with every other branch in their protective security. You're working with all the other agents, and you're also working with the Secret Service, the FBI, all these different Capitol Police, FBI Police, a lot of different people. So in that regard, I'd say that's a very coveted position. But really being assigned to a station or a sector, you could do those same things because building partnerships, working with other government agencies is a huge part of what the Coast Guard wants us to do. But as well as being an ME, again, being that subject matter expert with law enforcement, you have that opportunity to go out and do that. I was able to do that a lot with a lot of agencies in New York. Made a lot of great friends from doing that as well, working with great agencies from the local, state, and federal municipal levels. It was great.
So being at a sector station, almost, it's more like you're more personable. You're working with the community a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, you have an opportunity to go out and work with these officers a lot. It's all about kind of what you decide to do and what your command allows you to do.
And what are some of the most tactical? So those real super tactical people that all they want to do is shoot guns and be law enforcement. What types of jobs as an ME would those people be best suited for?
So that's going to be the Maritime Security Response Team, the MSRT, or TACLETs, Tactical Law Enforcement Teams. Those are your two options, and those are where you're going to go through basic tactical operations course and advanced tactical operations course. Both of those are 8-week-long courses where you're doing flat range, advanced combat marksmanship, and you're doing close quarters combat in shoot houses, on ships. You're getting a lot of really great training. Those are the elite units where you're going to get to do that.
Okay, and those you said are pretty readily available for MEs.
It's a big part of our billet structure, so generally speaking, there's always room for MEs there.
Okay. Now, last one is on-base police. So people that want to be an on-base police, is that something that's desirable? I know that there's not too many units that have MEs doing that, but is that something that's desirable? And what do they do?
So there's different ways. So there's Coast Guard police departments, CGPDs, and there's also base security, and those are kind of the same but kind of different. I want to say right now we have 5 CGPDs spread across the U.S. That includes Puerto Rico, Alaska, New York, Connecticut, and I want to say as well California. But so you have those that specifically do just that, and then base security, they're generally going to work with security, do some sort of logistics, and it's a similar thing, but they're not. They may not be fully classified as a police officer. Our Coast Guard police departments will attend a military police academy, and they'll wear a badge. They generally won't wear rank, stuff like that. Their ODUs will have different insignia sewn on them. So that's a pretty cool thing. Up in New York, they drive ATVs. They have bicycles. They do a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally think. So it's pretty cool. It just depends on the unit.
Okay. Are those pretty desirable jobs for MEs?
I think it would be cool. I think it's all about what you want to do. I mean I think it's a great job. I think, are they really sought after? I'm not sure. I don't think they are as much because people I think have a bad belief of what CGPD does, or people who want to police the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like that.
Yeah. Well, my experience with them was DUI checkpoints in Petaluma. Lots of DUI checkpoints.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what types of C schools do you get to go to as an ME?
So I mentioned ATOC and BTOC. You can go through precision marksman. You can go through a lot of instructor courses, and there's a lot of non-Coast Guard courses that you may get to attend. A lot of suburni classes as well, sometimes with the Army or other agencies. Those are primarily the popular C schools that you could attend as an ME.
And what about being like a sniper? Can MEs be snipers?
Yeah, so that's what we refer to as precision marksman. So within our precision marksman, that's actually the course I'm going through right now. So as a precision marksman, you have different things. You have aerial, and then you have observer teams. they do different things. So the PMAs, Precision Marksman Aerial, are the guys you'll see at Hitron and at Tacklets that will shoot from a helicopter and shoot at a boat's engines to disable them. And then you have observer teams that do some really cool, maybe Overwatch and or reconnaissance type stuff. And those are assigned to MSRTs. So that's what we call Coast Guard snipers. And if you don't know, this year they scored 9th in the international sniper competition.
Yeah,
snipers in internationally. And the year before that, they scored 4th place. So we have 2 incredibly talented individuals representing the Coast Guard very well in that fact.
Beating out all services, Marines, Army.
Also, and we beat the Marine Corps for the second year in a row. I say we, they did, but you want to take pride in that. That's definitely something I'm super proud of.
Yeah, actually, I think I saw the video. Like they made a video about it, and it was really well made. I'll include that in the description box if you want to see that. Do you know the people that actually won that?
I do. So I know one of them. I've shot with one of them. He's really great marksman, everything from pistol to obviously long range. And the other one, the Emmy rating's pretty small, so you definitely know of people, even if you don't know them personally. So Emmy 1 Leahy and Emmy 1 Helbert are those 2 individuals, and they did a great job.
So, Emmy sounds really cool. It sounds like you get a lot of experience and a lot of shooting. Because people that join the military, a lot of them want to do it because they want to shoot guns. They want to be tactical. They like that environment, the law enforcement. People that join like the Army as infantry, I don't know if you would know, like, would you say that Emmy is a bit more tactical, or you're doing a bit more of that law enforcement gun experience than compared to maybe other services that people join for that kind of experience?
That's a unique question. So I've actually been able to work with and train members of every branch, every other branch. I know a Marine. I know a prior Army soldier as well, who, yes, they shot, but they shot these standardized courses. They didn't do the type of stuff that we do at as I mentioned, VTOC and ATOC. So I would say that we shoot a lot at those units, but I wouldn't have enough experience to say it's to compare it to that. But I will say that the people I know, they've said that they've come from other services and they've never shot or done the things that they've done at like an MSRT or a TACLET with that shooting.
So, like, I know sometimes they compare like the Navy or the Navy SEALs or like the Green Berets, like the Emmys, or these guys at the MSRTs are kind of like comparable to that. And we also do a lot of training missions with Navy SEALs, if I'm correct, right?
So there's a lot of training that takes place with a lot of other special operations commands and their assets. That does take place at MSRT level, and in the past it's taken place at TACLETs as well. But I think we're very specific in saying that we are the deployable specialized forces of the Coast Guard. We are a specialized capability. Some other news agencies have sometimes misnomered it as Coast Guard Special Forces, but we like to ensure that that's not what we're called, because that is very limited to other personnel. But our personnel are very, very capable, talented, extremely well-rounded individuals who often work with people of some of those backgrounds and can keep up with them.
Wow. So yeah, I think we covered a lot in this video. There's just so much good content that I know that lots of people are going to benefit from. I don't know if you have anything else to share for aspiring MEs, if you have any advice to them, or people that are interested in joining the Coast Guard or are non-rates and waiting to go to ME. If you have like any encouraging words or anything that you would like to share with these people.
So I will say, man, obviously I'm a little bit biased. I think that ME is a great rating, but I'm not foolish enough to say that it's the only rating to go. I mean, for me, I know it is. And for a lot of people, yes, it is the only rating that they would want to go. But there's so many opportunities in the Coast Guard. I say that hands down the Coast Guard is tremendous. I've worked with every branch of service, and I see our quality of life, how we treat each other, and how we're treated by our commands. And generally speaking, it is absolutely, without a doubt, the best choice. So being in the Coast Guard, you've already won, or signing up to go to boot camp, you've already won. I think being an ME is amazing, is excellent. And for me, it's the only choice. And I think for a lot of people as well, if that's what you want to do, you should, again, follow your heart, stick with it, find a way to achieve it. Because in the end, you only have one life and you should make the best of it. So stick with it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Emmy1, for taking the time to really dissect all of this mystifying Emmy unicorn magic that you guys have been hiding away. I, for one, learned so much from this. I had so many misconceptions about like what an Emmy actually does, and I know that a lot of the Coast Guard, and this is what I want to tell the viewers, is that you're going to join the Coast Guard and you're going to hear a lot of BMs and MKs and a lot of people saying, Emmys are just basically like they're the training guys, but from this video, it's like we know Emmys do a whole lot more, and you're sold kind of what the Emmy does from your recruiter, because that's what an Emmy does. They're not lying to you and then just covering up and saying like, hey, this is actually a BM. You're actually doing the stuff, and so thank you so much for taking this time to explain this. If anybody has any other questions, you can leave Emmy1 a message. I'll include his Instagram down below. You can also leave a comment and ask me. I can be sure to reach out to him. And if we get enough questions, which I'm sure lots of people are going to have plenty of other questions in the future, I'd love to be able to maybe answer some of those questions with you. Maybe do a live Q&A or something like that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the opportunity. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure that you do. Hit that thumbs up button and let us know that you like these videos and that you like how in-depth these types of questions are getting, really dissecting this. Until next time, guys,